We think we don't need God. What's your view on this?
Yeah, I think we do. And I'm obviously that goes into my belief in God. If you don't believe in God, obviously you'll think otherwise.
Yeah. What do we need him for?
Well, I mean, for everything that he does for us, brings
Like
us
what?
peace,
Like
love,
what?
community, faith, strength,
So
eternity.
I have all of those things. Apart from eternity, he doesn't really bring you that. That's a broken promise. But I have all of those things without God. I have peace. I have love. I have community. I have strength, or at least I'm given strength by the people I care about in my life who lift me up when I need it, and who I can lift up when they need it. We help each other to find strength. I have all of those things without the need of a magical being who we're told is going to light me on fire if I don't believe the right things about him.
No, the Bible doesn't say you're going to get lit on fire for not believing the right things.
Well, it says that there's a lake of burning sulfur in Revelation 21:8 awaiting unbelievers.
That's the best way we can picture it or envision it. Essentially, what hell is hell is the separation of God, and hell is the only place that God is not. And without God being there, there's no light, there's no love, there's no good in hell. So you're stuck with pain and suffering in hell.
Okay, so it is torture,
yeah.
right?
So in Matthew 13:42, when Jesus says, "And they will throw them into the furnace of fire, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth," is the furnace of fire just means not being near God?
Yeah, it's just the only place that God is not.
Right.
How is that not torture? If you have no happiness or joy and you only feel pain and it's forever, how is that not eternal torture?
Well, torture needs a torturer, and there has to be a purpose for that said torture, but God is not down there torturing you. No, that was your own decision to go there.
So I don't believe God exists. Therefore, I'm going to end up down there. What am I supposed to do about that? You said I put myself there. So what am I supposed to do about that if I'm not convinced God exists?
When I say that you're putting yourself there, you're choosing to step away from God, and that's your call. That's your own decision. He's not.
No, I'm not. Are you choosing to step away from Darth Vader?
What do you mean?
So, like, you can't choose to be with somebody if you don't believe they actually exist. So the starting point is that I don't believe God actually exists.
Yes.
What am I? No, I'm not choosing. Belief isn't a choice.
Well, yeah, the belief is not a choice, but you're choosing to not look for God. You're choosing.
Yeah, hang on a second. Do you realize how many millions of people you are now currently just impugning? Like, there are people who spent their whole lives looking for God. Desperately, wishing to find God, asking to find them. There's a name for these people: non-resistant non-believers, right? People who would love to have a relationship with God, but can't find God, right? Who just are just not convinced that God is real, right? If God is real, I would like to know about it, right? So I'm happy to meet God if He's there, but God has so far chosen to remain hidden from me, from Sean, from the many thousands of people in our community, and from the many millions of people, or even billions of people across human history who have not been able to discern him. So
have you asked why?
Well, the why almost doesn't matter. But the fact is,
what do you mean?
Well, the fact is that God could make himself known to all of us right now and chooses not to. Right now, he might have a really good reason for choosing not to, but that's still he's still him choosing to remain hidden and then punishing us for his choice to remain hidden. And that makes moral sense because what?
Well, no, God. See, that's you guys keep reverting back to say that God is punishing you, but He is not punishing you.
Of course He is.
So think of it like this. So let's say your mom is standing in the doorway of your house and she's like, "Hey, sweetheart, come on inside. I really want you to be inside for the night because it's warm in here, it's cold out here, it's really not okay if you stay the night out here. You're going to go through a lot of pain, and then you choose to turn and walk away from the house.
Except the reason the reason your analogy doesn't work is because we would have to make your mom completely invisible and incapable of being heard. We would also have to make her capable of creating the circumstances where you would go into the house with zero effort to her in a way that would work every time, and choosing not to do it. And we would also have to include the scenario where your mother created the cold that bothered you outside during the night and created the creatures that might come and prey on you while you were outside the safety of the house. So that's why the analogy you just gave is one we've heard 5,000 times before, and it's just as silly on the 5,001st. It's completely not analogous at all.
I guess it leads me to ask you the question. You said that you have to imply that the mother is incapable of being heard. Who told you that God was incapable? We're incapable of hearing.
Let's listen for him now. Let's listen for him now, everyone. Everyone, please put a zero in the comments if you can't hear God right now, and put a 1 in the comments if anyone can hear anything.
Okay, and while you do that, I'm going to give you a direct comparison to what you just did. If you don't hear me in the next 5 seconds, it means you're incapable of hearing me.
Well, it might mean that you're choosing to remain silent, and the comments are now full of zeros, by the way.
So that exactly, it might mean that I'm choosing to remain silent.
Well, that's the point I'm making.
Because you can't hear God.
But that's the point. That makes it worse. That makes it worse. So you're just agreeing with me that God is choosing to remain silent. That's exactly the point I was trying to make.
In this moment, yes, of course, because you're challenging him not in a sense
whereas in your analogy, the mother isn't choosing to remain silent. She's making her voice heard to the child in precisely the way that God is not doing right now. And that's why the analogy fails. Do you have a better one?
So the analogy doesn't fail to that just because God didn't choose to make himself heard for you in this moment. So I'll give you another example of this. So I have physically seen, felt, and heard God on multiple occasions. And that's a situation where I was asked to come inside, and I had the decision to make
that's wonderful for you.
My will and my being, or am I going to turn to God as he's made clear for me?
Yeah, but so God chose to make himself known and heard to you, but not to the rest of us.
Yeah, that's in the Bible.
Yeah, so God decided to remain hidden from us, and then we get punished because we don't believe he. Oh, he didn't.
No,
so
that's not in the Bible.
Can God try and fail to make himself known to us?
What is it? Say again? Can he try and fail?
Yeah, can God try to make himself known to us and fail? Or is he all powerful? No. Okay, so he hasn't made himself known to us, so it means he hasn't even tried.
No, that's not what that means at all.
Okay, so if God tried to make himself known, he would have, because he's all powerful and there's nothing he could try and fail to do. I don't know God exists, which means logically, by definition, he hasn't tried, correct?
No, that's not what that means whatsoever. You're trying to oversimplify. No, you're trying to oversimplify the logic, because God, let's say God has tried to reach out to you. God did succeed in reaching out to you, but you put your fingers over your ears. But you put your fingers over your ears. Then that's a you thing. That has nothing to do with God's attempt.
So victim blaming then. Just victim blaming.
What is it?
Just victim blaming. It's a victim blaming. You're saying that Sean's inability to discern God and my inability to discern God and everybody else's here's ability to discern God isn't because God couldn't be asked to give us what he apparently gave you. It's because we put our fingers in our ears.
That's not what I said at all. The only thing that I was saying was that you guys said that if God tries, I will know. And I just explained to you that no, that's not the case. If you choose to not hear him, that has nothing to do with him trying and succeeding.
There's no choosing to not hear him if he's capable of making himself heard in a way that he knows would be successful, which is why Sean asked you first, can he try and fail? Right? And you agreed he can't try and fail. That means if he tries...
Can't.
That means he can't try and fail. Exactly. That means that if he tries, he's going to succeed every time.
Okay, so what we can
hang on. No, we're going to bury this one first. So what that means is that if he tries, he's going to succeed. And the fact that many of us have not discerned God must therefore prove that he has not tried.
No. So, and I'll give you a further example. Let's say I'm standing in a subway and there's 10 people behind me. And let's say God tapped my shoulder and I turned around and chose to believe that one of the people behind me tapped my shoulder.
Right.
That has nothing to do with what God tried. That has to do with my own perception.
That would be an instance of God trying to get your attention and failing. It would be God trying to get your attention in a way that was ambiguous. No. Yes, in a way that was ambiguous and resulted in you not knowing that it was him.
That's not what we're talking about.
So, no, agree. It's not what we're talking about.
We're talking about God's attempt to get to communicate to us.
Right.
Now you're trying to say that God failed to get me to realize and see him.
You're suggesting that he failed because he tapped you on the shoulder in such a pathetic way that you might mistake him for being someone else. That's your analogy, not mine. Now, we can come back to the same question again. Just follow me on this logical path, right? Because this is going to be uncomfortable for you, but you've got to follow me on this, okay? Is God capable of providing evidence for me that he knows would be successful in making me know he's there? Is he capable of it or not? He is capable. Okay.
Yes.
That he knows would be successful. That he knows that I wouldn't mishear, misconstrue, not notice, be resistant to. That he knows would be successful. He apparently did it. He did it for Saul on the road to Damascus. He's capable of doing it, right? Has he done it?
Yep. Has he done it? Yeah. You want me to give him a call real quick and that?
You should be able to answer this question immediately with no hesitation. I'm a non-believer. Has God persuaded me that he's there?
Has God persuaded you of something? That's a question for you.
It's not a complicated question. I'm asking you to follow me on the logic. So you've agreed with me that God is powerful enough to provide evidence that would be impossible to ignore or misconstrue. You've agreed with me this.
Yep.
So the next question is, has he done that?
So I'll tell you, it's not my opinion.
It's just a yes or a no.
Clear.
No,
the Bible makes clear he will not do that for you.
No. So he hasn't done it. Right. So that means that God is happy for me to remain a non-believer, because if he wasn't happy with that, it's exactly what it means. Because if he wasn't happy with it, he would provide the evidence that he would remedy that situation.
No.
And it would be easy for him to do it.
Nowhere in the Bible does it say that. That goes against everything written in the Bible.
It doesn't.
You made that up on your own accord.
It doesn't, because it flows naturally from the thing you agree. Where does it say that
in the Bible that God is unhappy that you don't follow him, so he'll make you obviously follow him?
That's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. We're not talking about that at all. These are the logical entailments of the properties of the God you believe in. Hang on. I need you to follow me on this, because you're sinking in quicksand in the logic here, and I'm trying to pull you out. Okay, just apply some reason here. Okay, you've granted. Right. We're going to go around this roundabout just one last time in the hope that you can get this. Okay, you've granted that if it was God's will, he could make me a believer right now. Agreed?
No, I never said if it was his will. I know that's not his will.
In that case, he's not capable of doing it, correct?
No, he's capable of it, but it's not. Okay. It has nothing to do with.
So he's capable of doing it, and he hasn't done it yet, which means it is his will or it isn't his will.
What?
He's capable of doing
it. Obviously, if he hasn't done it, it's not his will.
Correct. That's what I was saying. He either wants me to know he's there or he doesn't. If he wants me to know he's there, I would know he was there. And if he doesn't want me to know he's there, then I don't know he's there. The only other options are he doesn't exist or he's not powerful enough to provide the evidence. There are no other options.